Have you ever wondered why one cup of coffee tastes like sweet honey and jasmine, while another hits you like dark chocolate and smoke? Most people think coffee is just coffee. But the truth is there are dozens of coffee varieties, each with its own incredible history. Some nearly disappeared forever. Some changed the economies of entire countries. One sold for more than $6,000 per pound. Another became famous because a herd of hyperactive goats couldn't stop jumping around. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes each bean unique, which brewing method unlocks its best flavor, and why millions of people are unknowingly drinking the wrong coffee every morning. Let's begin with the bean that started the world's greatest caffeine obsession. Number 1, the Arabica bean. Everything you think you know about coffee starts with this bean. Long before coffee became a billion-dollar industry, it was simply a wild plant growing in the highlands of Ethiopia. According to one of the most famous legends in history, a goat herder named Kaldi noticed his goats acting strangely after eating bright red cherries from a nearby tree. Instead of settling down for the night, they became wildly energetic, leaping across rocks and refusing to sleep. Curious, Kaldi tried the cherries himself and experienced the same burst of energy. He shared his discovery with local monks, who began roasting and brewing the beans to stay awake during long nights of prayer. Whether every detail of the story is true or not, one thing is certain: this humble bean would eventually change the way the entire world starts its morning. That bean was Arabica. Today, Arabica accounts for roughly 60% of all coffee grown worldwide and is considered the gold standard for specialty coffee. Unlike stronger varieties, Arabica naturally contains more sugars and aromatic oils, giving it a smoother, sweeter, and far more complex flavor profile. Depending on where it's grown, you may taste notes of chocolate, caramel, berries, citrus, honey, or delicate flowers, all in a single cup. Its caffeine content sits at around 1.5%, noticeably lower than many other coffee varieties. That lower caffeine level allows the bean's natural sweetness and aroma to take center stage instead of overwhelming your palate with bitterness. But Arabica's incredible flavor comes at a price. The plant is notoriously difficult to grow. It thrives only in cool, high-altitude regions, demands stable weather, and is highly vulnerable to pests and disease. A single season of unfavorable conditions can devastate an entire harvest, making Arabica one of the most delicate coffee species on Earth. To experience everything Arabica has to offer, coffee experts usually recommend a light to medium roast brewed with a pour-over method such as a V60 or Chemex. These slower brewing techniques highlight the bean's elegant sweetness and layered aromas that often disappear in darker roasts. Arabica may be the world's favorite coffee bean, but it isn't the toughest, and the next variety became famous for exactly the opposite reason. It can survive conditions that would destroy Arabica without breaking a sweat. Number 2, Robusta. If Arabica is known for elegance, Robusta built its reputation on pure strength. While Arabica struggles with disease, changing weather, and high-altitude conditions, Robusta thrives where most coffee plants would fail. Native to Central and West Africa, this hardy variety became a favorite among farmers because it's incredibly resistant to pests, heat, and poor soil. It grows faster, produces higher yields, and is far easier to cultivate on a large scale. But what truly sets Robusta apart is its caffeine content. With nearly twice as much caffeine as Arabica, around 2.5 to 2.7%, Robusta naturally develops a much bolder personality. That extra caffeine doesn't just provide a stronger kick, it also creates a richer, more bitter flavor with earthy, woody, and sometimes nutty notes that coffee lovers either passionately enjoy or completely avoid. For espresso drinkers, however, Robusta has a secret advantage. Those thick golden layers of crema sitting on top of a well-pulled espresso shot? Robusta is often responsible for creating that rich, velvety texture. That's why many Italian espresso blends include a percentage of Robusta, balancing Arabica's sweetness with extra body, intensity, and a longer-lasting finish. And here's something many people never realize. If you've ever made a quick cup of instant coffee at home, there's a very good chance you've already been drinking Robusta for years because it's less expensive to grow, produces larger harvests, and retains its bold flavor even after heavy processing. Robusta has become the backbone of most instant coffee brands around the world. Despite its reputation as the budget bean, high-quality Robusta has started gaining new respect in specialty coffee circles. When carefully cultivated and properly roasted, premium Robusta can deliver rich chocolate notes, roasted nuts, dark caramel, and a satisfying full-bodied cup that surprises even experienced coffee enthusiasts. To enjoy Robusta at its best, a medium dark or dark roast works exceptionally well, especially when brewed as espresso or with a mocha pot. These methods enhance its bold character while softening some of its natural bitterness. Arabica may have introduced the world to specialty coffee, but Robusta proved that toughness has its own rewards. And while these two beans dominate nearly the entire global coffee market, the next variety tells a story that few people have ever heard. A bean that once rescued an entire nation's coffee industry before mysteriously disappearing from the world stage. Number 3, Liberica. Just when it looked like the coffee industry was headed for disaster, one overlooked bean stepped in and changed history. In the late 1800s, a deadly fungal disease known as coffee leaf rust swept across plantations in Asia, destroying millions of Arabica trees. Entire farms collapsed, exports plummeted, and countries that depended on coffee faced economic ruin. Then came Liberica. Originally native to West Africa, Liberica proved to be far more resistant to disease than Arabica. The Philippines quickly embraced the bean, planting it across the country as growers desperately searched for a way to rebuild their coffee industry. Within just a few years, the nation had become one of the world's leading coffee exporters, thanks largely to this remarkable variety. For a brief moment, Liberica looked like the future of coffee. But history had other plans. Political changes, shifting international trade routes, and growing competition from other coffee-producing countries caused Liberica's global popularity to fade. Although it had once rescued an entire industry, the bean slowly disappeared from most international markets, surviving mainly in the Philippines, Malaysia, and a handful of neighboring countries. What makes Liberica instantly recognizable isn't just its history, it's its appearance. The beans are significantly larger than Arabica or Robusta and have an unusual asymmetrical shape. Even the trees themselves can grow well over 50 feet tall, making them some of the largest coffee plants in the world. Its flavor is equally distinctive. Liberica delivers a bold combination of smoky wood, dark fruit, floral aromas, and subtle spice. Some coffee drinkers even detect hints of jackfruit or ripe tropical fruit, creating a cup unlike almost anything else in the coffee world. Because of its full body and intense aroma, Liberica shines when brewed in a French press or drip brewer, allowing its unique character to fully develop without becoming overpowering. In the Philippines, this coffee is commonly known as Barako, a name that roughly translates to strong man or tough guy. It's a fitting nickname for a bean that once saved a nation's coffee industry from collapse. Today, Liberica accounts for less than 2% of global coffee production, making it one of the rarest commercial coffee varieties you'll ever encounter. Finding an authentic bag outside Southeast Asia can be surprisingly difficult, but many coffee enthusiasts consider it well worth the search. As rare as Liberica is, the next bean has sparked an argument among coffee experts that still hasn't completely disappeared. Some insist it's its own species. Others argue it's simply a member of the Liberica family. And that debate has lasted for nearly 2 decades. Number 4. Excelsa. Few coffee beans have sparked as much debate as Excelsa. For decades, it was classified as its own coffee species. Then in 2006, botanists reclassified it as a variety of Liberica. On paper, the case seemed closed. But many coffee professionals still disagree. Brew an Excelsa and a Liberica side by side, and most experienced drinkers will tell you they couldn't be more different. Their aromas, acidity, body, and overall character are so distinct that many still treat Excelsa as its own unique coffee. Originally grown throughout Southeast Asia, particularly Vietnam and the Philippines, Excelsa thrives in warm climates and can produce surprisingly high yields. Yet despite its availability, you'll rarely find a bag made from 100% Excelsa. There's a good reason for that. On its own, Excelsa can be intensely tart and unusually fruity. Bright berry notes, dark plum, tamarind, and even hints of red wine often dominate the cup. For some people, that sharp acidity can feel overwhelming. But when blended with other coffees, something remarkable happens. Instead of overpowering the cup, Excelsa acts like a flavor enhancer. It adds layers of complexity, lifting the aroma and creating a finish that's brighter, sweeter, and far more memorable. It's one of the reasons many specialty roasters quietly include small amounts of Excelsa in premium blends. Think of it like the bass guitar in a great band. You may not notice it immediately, but remove it, and the entire performance suddenly feels incomplete. Excelsa also has a naturally lighter body than many other coffee varieties, making it an excellent choice for drinkers who enjoy vibrant, fruit-forward flavors instead of heavy, chocolatey profiles. A medium roast paired with a pour-over brewer or AeroPress is often considered the best way to showcase its lively acidity and layered fruit notes without overwhelming the palate. Although Excelsa represents only a tiny fraction of the world's coffee production, its influence extends far beyond its rarity. Sometimes, the smallest ingredient makes the biggest difference. While Excelsa continues to surprise coffee enthusiasts today, the next bean shaped the history of coffee in an entirely different way. In fact, countless coffee varieties grown across the Americas can trace their family tree back to a single plant that survived pirates, storms, and an incredible journey across the Atlantic Ocean. Number 5. Typica. Nearly every famous coffee grown across Central and South America owes its existence to this one remarkable bean. Typica isn't the rarest coffee in the world or the most expensive, but without it, the global coffee industry would look completely different today. Its journey began in Yemen centuries ago, where Arabica coffee was carefully cultivated and closely guarded. During the late 1600s, Dutch traders managed to transport Typica seeds to the island of Java in present-day Indonesia. From there, a single coffee plant was shipped to a botanical garden in Amsterdam. That lone tree would change history. A few decades later, a French naval officer named Gabriel de Cleo was entrusted with carrying a cutting from that very plant across the Atlantic to the Caribbean island of Martinique. The voyage was anything but easy. According to historical accounts, pirates threatened the ship, violent storms battered the crew, and fresh drinking water became dangerously scarce. Determined to keep the fragile cutting alive, de Cleo reportedly shared his own daily ration of water with the tiny coffee plant. Against all odds, it survived. From that single tree, millions of descendants spread throughout the Caribbean before reaching Central and South America. Today, countless famous coffee-growing regions, including Colombia, Guatemala, Costa Rica, and much of Latin America, can trace part of their coffee heritage back to that extraordinary journey. Typica remains one of the most respected heirloom coffee varieties in the world. Its trees produce fewer cherries than many modern cultivars, making harvests smaller and often more expensive, but many coffee lovers believe the flavor is worth every extra dollar. A well-grown Typica offers exceptional balance, combining soft sweetness with delicate floral aromas, gentle citrus acidity, and a silky mouthfeel that feels effortlessly elegant. Rather than overwhelming the senses, it delivers a clean, refined cup where every flavor seems perfectly in harmony. Because of its subtle character, coffee professionals usually recommend a light to medium roast, prepared with a V60 Chemex or other pour-over method. These brewing techniques highlight Typica's natural sweetness while preserving its crisp, transparent finish. Even after hundreds of years, Typica remains one of the foundational varieties behind modern specialty coffee. But while Typica was spreading across continents, another branch of the same family was quietly evolving in complete isolation on a remote island in the Indian Ocean. Over generations, that isolation transformed it into one of the sweetest and most celebrated coffee varieties ever discovered. Number 6. Bourbon. Sometimes, the greatest discoveries happen when nature is left completely alone. Bourbon coffee began with the same Arabica roots as Typica, but its story took a very different path. In the early 1700s, French missionaries brought a handful of Arabica plants to a remote island in the Indian Ocean known then as Bourbon Island, now called Réunion. Separated from the rest of the coffee world for generations, those trees evolved in complete isolation. There were no neighboring coffee varieties to cross with, no large plantations, and no outside influence. Year after year, the plants slowly adapted to their unique environment, gradually developing characteristics their ancestors never possessed. The result was bourbon. Compared to Typica, bourbon trees produce more cherries while delivering an even sweeter and more complex cup. Their cherries also ripen into striking shades of red, yellow, or orange, depending on the specific mutation, making bourbon one of the most visually beautiful coffee varieties in the field. But it's the flavor that has earned bourbon its legendary reputation. A high-quality bourbon coffee is rich with notes of caramel, milk chocolate, brown sugar, ripe stone fruit, and gentle citrus. The cup feels rounder, creamier, and more luxurious than many traditional Arabica varieties, creating a sweetness that lingers long after the final sip. Because of these exceptional qualities, bourbon has become one of the most important parent varieties in modern coffee breeding. Famous cultivars such as Catara, Catway, and several others were developed directly from bourbon, meaning its genetic influence can still be found in coffee farms across the world today. Of course, producing such remarkable flavor comes with challenges. Bourbon trees are less resistant to disease than many newer hybrids, and their branches often require careful management because the heavy fruit loads can reduce productivity over time. Farmers who choose to grow bourbon usually do so because they're chasing quality rather than maximum yield. To fully appreciate bourbon's natural sweetness, a light or medium roast is ideal. Brewing methods like an AeroPress, Chemex, or V60 allow its caramel-like richness and silky body to shine without masking its delicate fruit notes. More than 3 centuries after arriving on a tiny island in the Indian Ocean, bourbon remains one of the most respected coffee varieties in the specialty coffee world. It proves that patience and a little isolation can create something extraordinary. But even bourbon couldn't prepare the coffee world for what happened next. For decades, the next bean was ignored by almost everyone. Then, almost overnight, it shattered auction records, stunned professional judges, and became the most expensive coffee on earth. Number 7, Geisha. No coffee bean has shocked the specialty coffee world quite like Geisha. Today, it's celebrated as one of the finest coffees money can buy, but for decades, almost no one paid it any attention. Geisha was first discovered growing wild in the forests of southwestern Ethiopia during the 1930s. Researchers collected seeds and moved them through experimental farms in Tanzania and later Costa Rica, hoping they might prove useful. Instead, the variety sat in relative obscurity for years. Farmers found it difficult to grow, its yields were low, and there seemed to be little reason to choose it over more productive varieties. It was nearly forgotten. Everything changed in 2004. A family-owned farm in Panama called Hacienda La Esmeralda entered its Geisha coffee into the prestigious Best of Panama competition. No one expected anything extraordinary. Then the judges took their first sip. The room reportedly fell silent. Instead of the familiar flavors found in most specialty coffees, Geisha exploded with intensely fragrant notes of jasmine, bergamot, tropical fruit, peach, and honey. It was so unlike anything the judges had ever tasted that they immediately began scoring it far above every other coffee in the competition. Within days, buyers from around the world were competing to purchase it. That single competition transformed Geisha from an overlooked curiosity into the most sought-after coffee variety on Earth. Today, exceptional lots of Geisha regularly sell for hundreds of dollars per pound, while rare competition-winning harvests have broken auction records exceeding $6,000 per pound, making it one of the most expensive coffees ever sold. But the high price isn't just about rarity. Growing Geisha requires patience and precision. The The trees thrive at very high elevations, produce relatively small harvests, and demand ideal climate conditions. Even then, only careful harvesting and expert processing can unlock the extraordinary flavors that made the variety famous. Because Geisha is naturally delicate, coffee professionals almost always recommend a light roast prepared with a V60, Chemex, or other pour-over method. These gentle brewing techniques preserve its floral aroma and vibrant fruit character that darker roasts can easily overwhelm. And if you're lucky enough to try an authentic cup, many experts suggest drinking it black. Adding cream or sugar would mask the very qualities that made Geisha legendary in the first place. Geisha proved that one forgotten coffee variety could completely redefine what premium coffee tastes like. But here's the surprising part. The next coffee on our list costs only a small fraction of Geisha's record-breaking price, yet many coffee lovers believe it delivers one of the most unforgettable cups you'll ever drink. Number 8. Ethiopian Yirgacheffe. Some coffees are famous because they're expensive. Yirgacheffe became famous because of where it comes from. Hidden in the lush highlands of southern Ethiopia, the small region of Yirgacheffe has been producing exceptional coffee for generations. Sitting at elevations of over 1,700 meters above sea level, its cool climate, rich soil, and steady rainfall create the perfect environment for slow-growing coffee cherries. That extra time on the tree makes all the difference. As the cherries mature slowly, they develop higher concentrations of natural sugars and aromatic compounds, producing flavors that are remarkably bright, clean, and complex. Unlike massive commercial coffee plantations, most farms in Yirgacheffe are tiny family-owned plots. Many farmers still harvest every cherry by hand, selecting only the ripest fruit before carefully washing and drying the beans using traditional methods passed down through generations. It's a slower process, but it's also one of the reasons Yirgacheffe has earned such an extraordinary reputation among specialty coffee roasters. The first sip is unlike what many people expect from coffee. Instead of heavy chocolate or roasted flavors, Yirgacheffe greets you with vibrant notes of lemon, bergamot, jasmine, blueberry, peach, and delicate wildflowers. The body is remarkably light and silky, often reminding first-time drinkers more of fine tea than traditional coffee. Its crisp acidity and elegant aroma have made it one of Ethiopia's most celebrated regional coffees and a favorite among baristas competing in international brewing championships. To preserve those delicate floral and citrus characteristics, Yirgacheffe is almost always roasted light. A V60, Chemex, or Kalita wave allows its natural sweetness and layered aromas to unfold slowly with every sip. Many coffee lovers consider it one of the purest expressions of Ethiopian coffee, proof that exceptional flavor doesn't have to come with an impossible price tag. For anyone curious about what specialty coffee is truly capable of, Yirgacheffe is often one of the very first recommendations. But if Yirgacheffe represents elegance and refinement, the next coffee couldn't be more different. Dark, earthy, rich, and incredibly bold, it delivers a flavor profile so unique that some people fall in love with it instantly, while others never want another cup. Number 9. Sumatra Mandheling. If you've been waiting for a coffee with bold personality, this is it. Sumatra Mandheling isn't delicate, floral, or tea-like. It's deep, earthy, and unapologetically rich, a coffee that leaves a lasting impression from the very first sip. Its story begins on the Indonesian island of Sumatra, one of the world's oldest coffee-growing regions. Coffee first arrived there during the late 1600s under Dutch colonial rule, but what truly made Sumatran coffee famous had nothing to do with the Dutch. It was the local farmers who changed everything. Over generations, they developed a unique processing technique known as wet hulling, or giling basa. Unlike the traditional methods used almost everywhere else in the world, the beans are removed from their protective parchment while they're still partially wet before finishing the drying process. For years, coffee experts believed the method was unusual, even flawed. But the results spoke for themselves. Wet hulling creates a cup unlike almost any other coffee on earth. Instead of bright acidity and delicate fruit notes, Sumatra Mandheling develops an incredibly full body with flavors of dark chocolate, cedar, baking spices, tobacco, and rich earthy undertones. Some drinkers even describe hints of leather or sweet herbs, creating a bold profile that is instantly recognizable. Its low acidity makes it especially appealing to people who find lighter coffees too sharp or citrusy. Instead, every sip feels smooth, heavy, and satisfying, with a finish that lingers long after the cup is empty. Another reason Mandheling stands out is its texture. Rather than feeling crisp or light, it has an almost syrup-like mouthfeel that gives the coffee remarkable depth. It's one of the reasons Sumatra beans are often used in premium espresso blends, adding body and richness without overwhelming the other components. A medium dark or dark roast brings out the best in this variety, especially when brewed in a French press mocha pot or espresso machine. These methods highlight its signature chocolatey richness while preserving its unmistakable earthy character. Among coffee enthusiasts, Sumatra Mandheling has earned a loyal following because it offers something completely different from the bright floral coffees that dominate the specialty market. It proves that coffee doesn't always have to be elegant to be unforgettable. But while Sumatra Mandheling became famous for its unique flavor, the next coffee owes much of its worldwide reputation to one of the most successful marketing campaigns ever created. In fact, millions of people recognize its name because of a fictional farmer who never actually existed. Number 10. Colombian Supremo. Ask someone to name a famous coffee and chances are they'll say Colombian. That reputation wasn't built by accident. Coffee first arrived in Colombia during the early 1700s, where the country's mountainous terrain, volcanic soil, and ideal climate created near-perfect growing conditions. Over time, Colombian farmers developed a reputation for producing consistently smooth, high-quality Arabica beans that appealed to coffee drinkers around the world. But great coffee alone wasn't enough to dominate the global market. In the late 1950s, Colombia launched one of the most successful marketing campaigns in agricultural history. The National Federation of Coffee Growers introduced a fictional coffee farmer named Juan Valdez, complete with his signature mustache and loyal mule. The character wasn't real, but the message was. For decades, advertisements showed Juan Valdez carefully harvesting coffee by hand in Colombia's mountains, convincing millions of consumers that Colombian coffee represented the highest standard of quality. The campaign became so successful that for many people the word Colombian became almost synonymous with premium coffee. Among Colombia's finest grades is Colombian Supremo. The name Supremo doesn't refer to a specific coffee variety, but to the largest, highest quality beans sorted during processing. These larger beans roast more evenly and often produce a cleaner, more balanced cup. That's exactly what makes Supremo so popular. Rather than overwhelming the palate with bold or exotic flavors, it delivers remarkable balance. Expect notes of caramel, toasted almonds, milk chocolate, gentle citrus, and a subtle sweetness that makes every sip smooth and approachable. Its medium body and bright but controlled acidity allow it to satisfy both casual coffee drinkers and seasoned enthusiasts alike. It's the kind of coffee that's easy to enjoy every single day without becoming tiring. A medium roast brewed in a drip coffee maker, pour over, or automatic brewer brings out Supremo's signature balance, making it one of the most versatile coffees in the world. Even today, Colombia remains one of the largest producers of high-quality Arabica coffee, and Colombian Supremo continues to set the benchmark for consistency and drinkability. It may not be the rarest coffee on this list, it may not be the most expensive, but few coffees have earned the trust of coffee lovers around the world quite like Colombian Supremo. Now we're down to the final 2 coffees on our list. The next one grows in only a tiny region of Jamaica, yet one country buys nearly 80% of the entire harvest before the rest of the world even has a chance. Number 11, Jamaica Blue Mountain. Some coffees are difficult to find. Jamaica Blue Mountain is one of the few that's difficult to buy, even if you have the money. Its entire global supply comes from a narrow stretch of the Blue Mountains in eastern Jamaica, where coffee is grown between roughly 3,000 and 5,500 feet above sea level. Cool mountain mist, frequent rainfall, rich volcanic soil, and slow-growing conditions combine to create one of the smoothest coffees in the world. These ideal conditions also create one major problem. There simply isn't enough coffee. Every year, Blue Mountain farms produce only a tiny fraction of the world's coffee supply. And before most of those beans ever reach the international market, one country quietly purchases the majority of them. That country is Japan. For decades, Japanese importers have maintained long-term relationships with Jamaican growers, buying around 80% of the annual harvest through exclusive contracts. As a result, only a small portion of authentic Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee is available to the rest of the world. Its rarity is one reason for the high price. Its flavor is the other. Unlike many premium coffees that rely on intense fruitiness or bold acidity, Jamaica Blue Mountain is famous for its incredible balance. The cup is exceptionally smooth, with gentle floral aromas, soft sweetness, light chocolate notes, subtle nuts, and almost no bitterness. Every flavor feels clean, refined, and perfectly controlled. It's often described as one of the easiest premium coffees to enjoy because nothing dominates the cup. Instead, every element works together in perfect harmony. To preserve those delicate characteristics, experts usually recommend a medium-light roast, brewed with a pour-over or drip method. Heavy roasting would hide the subtle flavors that make Blue Mountain so special. But there's something every coffee buyer should know. Not every bag labeled Blue Mountain contains genuine Jamaica Blue Mountain coffee. Many products sold as Blue Mountain Blend legally contain only a small percentage of authentic Blue Mountain beans, with the rest made up of ordinary coffee from other regions. The packaging may look premium, but the coffee inside can be dramatically different from the real thing. If you're paying premium prices, always look for 100% Jamaica Blue Mountain certification from the Coffee Industry Board of Jamaica. Otherwise, you could be spending a fortune on little more than clever marketing. As rare as Jamaica Blue Mountain is, one final coffee faces exactly the same problem. It's grown on a tiny strip of volcanic land in Hawaii, carries one of the most famous names in the coffee world, and is one of the most frequently imitated coffees ever sold. Number 12. Kona. Our final coffee comes from one of the smallest coffee-growing regions on Earth. Authentic Kona coffee is produced on a narrow strip of volcanic land along the western slopes of Hawaii's Big Island. The growing area is only about 2 miles wide and 30 miles long, meaning every genuine Kona bean in the world comes from this tiny stretch of fertile ground. That limited supply is exactly what makes it so valuable. Coffee was first introduced to Hawaii in the early 1800s, and over the next 2 centuries, Kona's unique combination of volcanic soil, warm sunny mornings, cool afternoon clouds, and gentle ocean breezes created ideal conditions for growing exceptional Arabica coffee. Unlike many commercial coffee farms, most Kona producers are still small, family-owned operations. Every harvest is carefully hand-picked, ensuring only perfectly ripe cherries make it into the final product. The result is a coffee that's admired for its remarkable balance. A well-roasted Kona offers smooth notes of brown sugar, toasted nuts, milk chocolate, and subtle tropical fruit, supported by a gentle brightness and a rich, buttery finish. It isn't overpowering or intensely floral. Instead, it's incredibly refined, making it an excellent choice for anyone who appreciates a clean, naturally sweet cup. A medium roast brewed as a pour-over or drip coffee best highlights Kona's silky texture and delicate sweetness without masking its subtle complexity. But despite its outstanding reputation, Kona has one of the biggest problems in the coffee industry: counterfeits. Just like Jamaica Blue Mountain, many products sold as Kona Blend contain surprisingly little authentic Kona coffee. In some markets, a blend may legally include only 10% real Kona beans, while the remaining 90% comes from ordinary coffee grown elsewhere. The name may sound impressive, the price may still be high, but the experience can be nothing like drinking genuine Kona. If you ever decide to buy Kona coffee, always check the label carefully. Look for 100% Kona coffee from certified Hawaiian producers. That simple detail can mean the difference between tasting one of the world's finest coffees or paying premium prices for clever packaging. From the legendary Arabica bean discovered by curious goats to the luxurious Kona coffee grown on volcanic slopes in Hawaii, every bean on this list tells a different story. Some changed history, some rescued entire industries, others nearly disappeared before becoming legends. And now, the next time you pour yourself a cup of coffee, you'll know there's far more inside that mug than just caffeine. Every bean has a story. The only question is, which one will you try first? If you enjoyed discovering the fascinating stories behind the world's most famous coffee beans, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next food breakdown. And tell us in the comments which coffee is your favorite or which one are you most excited to try. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.